Yo guys, so we're in front of the Tbilisi main metro bus station. We're going to go on a tour of parts of Georgia. Yeah, we're back. No longer in Armenia. I came back a few days ago. Got epic food poisoning, but that's kind of TMI. That's neither here nor there. Today, we're feeling a lot better. We have charcoal tablets, and we're going to go on a little adventure. We're going to get to have a bit more of a positive experience here in Georgia. We're going to be able to get some culture. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am wearing shorts, but I did bring a change of pants and a jacket because we are going to be going to a few churches. And here, you're going to need to make sure that you have, appropriate attire. Anyway, I see my group over there, so I'm going to go and join them right now.
Okay, so we're going to see how they make Georgian breads over here. Now we're going to see the Kakheti style of Georgian bread, which is a little bit thinner. The ones you're going to see in the city, they'll be a bit more rounder and it'll also be thick dough inside. As you can see, this one is a bit thinner, also sort of narrow in the cylinder. In the middle is cement, and on the outside, it's wood, right? Actually, the wood is important because when it's leaning over like this to put your bread inside, it's protecting its legs from burning, right? The cement is very hot because it's like 400 degrees down there. So if it were to be wooden planks, his legs should be burning. So it's really important. They put fire down in the morning and then they took out the fire and the charcoal which is left at the bottom, that's what's heating up the flame. When flame gets hot, it becomes sticky, which allows us to stick the dough on the sides of the flame. Okay? This dough is nothing too special. It's just some yeast, some flour, a bit of salt, and water goes into it. Okay? The shape is really important, right? I'm going to demonstrate something. So what does this shape mean?
No, that was funny because I have no idea what I cut out there, but it's the shape of a canoe. Anyways, after we learned about how they make their bread, we had a little bit of morning wine and cheeses. We got to have 3 different types of cheeses, which he is going to explain for us here.
Everyone knows cheese, but it has more salt. And then this one is sheep cheese. Okay? Don't eat too much of this one because your breast will stink. Especially you're sitting next to me, so not too much.
It was so cool that all of this was taking place at a traditional Georgian household, like with a garden and a little vineyard and everything. It was so nice and so surreal to be able to experience this and see all the little dogs and stuff. It was very special, and I got to taste some of this morning wine, and you know what?
That's not how you say it. That's not what I'm supposed to say for this, but well.
And it's a little guarded when the owner literally has a whole animal leg to give to their dog. Anyway, so we got back on the bus and we were traveling for not too long. I would say probably about 45 minutes. We got to meet everyone on the bus. Some people from Ukraine, Israel, Hungary, where else? Oh yeah, me and another guy from America and this lovely British couple. So we got to our next destination. It's this old monastery that actually has a newer building on it.
So the bus literally stopped over at some guy's house who makes these breads and cheeses professionally as part of their livelihood. It was so interesting to be literally let into someone's home and get to see this traditional bread process where they take a bit of dough, they wet it with water, and then they slap it on the side of, some type of whole thingamabobber. It cooks for just a few minutes, if that, and then they take it out, and it's in this canoe-shaped thing. And then we got to try these 3 cheeses. One was mild, one was very salty, and the other one was a goat's, I don't know. It was a more earthy taste to it. It was a more earthy, organic taste. Very different from the other ones. I personally. Anyway, we continue to travel on, and now we've reached this wonderful nunnery, this beautiful monastery. I just came out of one of the oldest churches on the grounds that was created, I believe, in the 14th century by a Russian czar, and it's a really beautiful place. Now, I couldn't film inside. That's a big no-no, but what I can show you is just these beautiful grounds. And I can't lie to you guys, I'm getting a lot of deja vu moments. I'm pretty sure I've seen all of this in a dream, And the fact that this is a religious space kind of adds more to it. But here is a church, another church, I should say, and it might look like it's old. It's very beautifully designed. However, this was actually funded by the Georgian Dream Party, the current political party that is in power here in the country of Georgia. Now, it is beautifully done. They had a bunch of French artists, architects come out here. The exterior alone costs millions of dollars. However, this is not a finished project. It's been going on for almost 10 years, 16 years, I think is what they say. And it is not done. Now you ask, Ricky, why isn't it done? Especially now that the exterior seems to be well put in place and the Georgian Dream Party well in power. It seemed more of a political hack than anything else, not to disrespect being here and what it's dedicated to, this church, but it seemed like they ran on funding this. It seemed like they created fundraisers to fund the creation of this church in this sacred part of Georgia as a way to get in the good graces of the average Georgian. Seemed like a bunch of political fodder, but at the end of the day, I think that's what most religious symbols are used for. In the end of the day, is to work at pieces of propaganda. So whether or not it's a Russian czar from centuries ago or the current oligarch ruling over Georgia today, everyone wants to make their mark and everyone wants to use God and the Christian church to their own benefit and use. But look over here. It's so cool. Now, this is actually a live nunnery too. There are about 30 nuns here, and they make a lot of cool little Georgian cuisine, foods, treats, snacks. I think they also have a nursery here too. Epically cool. So yeah, this is our second stop, and I think we have one or two more stops left. This is essentially a wine tour, so enough about the history. Let's get into the drinking.
Second World War Memorial. Again, it's everyone from this city and also from nearby villages who passed away in the Second World War. Okay?
Actually, so the history lesson wasn't stopping there. We ended up going to this cool city with a 4.5-kilometer wall that stretches all around the city. It's technically the longest wall in Europe. And it was designed to prevent, the roaming nomadic tribes and barbarians, honestly, from entering. And it felt so cool to be up here. I felt like a kid playing like a game of Fortress. And then after we got to see the wall, we went to this wonderful restaurant for a lunch, and we got to try different types of cha-cha. The cha-cha was in each of these containers, and I had the bourbon one, the one that you see. And then we got to have tasty meats before we got to have a awesome spread of food.
Put the next table, and then we can start. Okay? Okay, so you first gonna give us a tour. One seat. You're gonna do the whole thing. Okay? When you're done, you're gonna put the board on your forehead. Okay. And you're gonna say a phrase. I wish your enemy. Read up again. I wish your enemy. What is empty? So it's empty. Is this door? And enemies. Enemy like this board. Yes. So basically, when you're drinking wine, you're killing all the enemies in your life. That's why you will show something like. Okay? So, toast, chug. You can do it. Okay, guys. Toast for everyone. Okay.
Подожди, не остался.
For a beautiful country, Georgia. What a beautiful people of Georgia. Hospitality, amazing. For all our friends and for health of us, I wish you everything good. Gamorjos. This fort is empty, like my enemies. I wish you to this.
After that wine ceremony, drinking out of horn, we actually went to our first wine tour stop, which was nice. We ended up running into a special surprise. After we had our first few glasses of wine, we got to see these amazing little... Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys. Okay, just know this wine was good, but what's coming after is even better than what we came here. See? So down here we got to see the way that Georgians traditionally make wine, which is in clay pots in the ground. But I don't really remember too much of this because by this time I was pretty tipsy. But it was really cool to come down in the basement. Then we left to go to the next winery, which was one that specializes in more European style wine. So you think of more like stainless steel vats, you know, instead of like the traditional clay pots that are buried underground. And we got even more sloshed on this tour. I have to be honest with you, this is a pretty good bang for your buck, like $36 for all of this.
Let's go. Wine is part of our culture, tradition, and religion. In Georgia, we respect wine because for us it's like a magic liquid. In Georgia, we have 5 fragrant and 25 endemic type of grape, and we always make our wine from grape. As I told you, this is the biggest company in Georgia, and you see how many different kind of wines we have in this factory. That's how tasty we have best seller wines. First wine, which you should taste, called Qvevri. Qvevri, this grape is very, very rare grape, which grows only in the west side of Georgia, in Guria region and also in Ajara region. But this Qvevri we have from Guria region. Most important thing about this wine is that this is a red grape, but this wine is a white color.
It was actually such a special treat to be able to have wine straight from the tap. Like, I don't think I've ever had wine this fresh before. It was beautiful, it was fizzy, it was bubbly, and it was cold. It was like pretty cold, which is fine for the white wine, but the red wine was interesting.
We don't stop. If we keep going this process, this bacteria starting to eat all naturally sugar. This naturally sugar turn into alcohol and wine becomes dry, not sweet absolutely. That's why wine which we make at home in Georgia is always dry because at home we don't stop fermentation process.
And last but not least was the trying of this 20-year-old brandy, and I have to admit, you guys, it was so good I went in for a second. Well, guys, that was basically our entire day. We explored wine country. We got to see every little facet of the winemaking process. Got to see some cute dogs, meet some amazing people from all walks of life. I really had a great time, and I hope I can come back here again because it was truly a special occasion. All right, guys, I hope you have a good one. Until we see each other again, peace and love. All right, bye.